Hi, for Vin?
How you doing, Vin?
Hey, yeah, come on in.
Thanks.
Cell phone charger back there if you need one.
I appreciate it. That's great.
Of course. Out enjoying the nice day today?
I always do need one. Yeah, it's been great. I got out a little bit early from work and heading out to the harbor.
Oh, that's
See
great.
some fireworks.
Nice. Oh, are they doing fireworks today?
Yeah, for Wednesday and Saturday.
Oh, I had no idea. Which harbor do they do fireworks at?
Navy Pier.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna take the boat down to Navy Pier from Montrose.
Oh, I see. Cool. I had no idea they did that. That's great to know. Might have to swing by on Saturday.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Especially with 4th of July coming up. Together we will practice it.
Yeah, they got to get the show right. Yeah, got to practice it, get it right. What do you do for work?
I'm in sales.
Sales, okay.
Sell for a lighting manufacturer down on the south side.
Oh, nice, okay.
How about you? Is this your...
I do this. I also am a cloud infrastructure engineer, 9 to 5, and a stand-up comedian.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I do this to test out bad jokes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Lucky me.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have any written, so you're good. I just got started,
Okay.
but we'll give it some time. Yeah.
Just like when I see a doctor and I say, hey, what's this?
Does this look infected to you?
Yeah, I'm going to bounce some bad jokes off of you. And
Yeah.
say, hey.
Exactly.
Do people do that?
You know what? Some, not quite. I haven't had anybody giving me any jokes. If you've got any, I'd be happy to steal them.
I don't
Yeah.
have any jokes.
Okay. But yeah, no, that and every now and then, no. Usually what they do is they just ask me like my thoughts on comedy and cancel culture is pretty much the guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if they're like, oh, if you're a comedian, what do you think of this? What did the guy that said that? I'm like, all right, we'll see. All right, fine. That's it. That's usually what we'll get.
How's the comedy career going?
Pretty terrible. No, it's actually, you know, it's a long road. It's a lot of work. I started in 2019, but I took all of COVID off.
Okay.
And so I'm just getting started again.
Getting back at it?
Yeah, and you know what they say, 10,000 hours, right? So that takes about 10 years of standing up and disappointing people until they start to laugh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, if we get a couple of wins in there.
And that's really it. That's really it. As soon as I get one, I'm gonna remember it.
What kind of comedians do you like?
Oh gosh, there's so many out there. I really love Pete Holmes. I think he's really hilarious and just like does great stuff. He has a great podcast. Some of the ones that are like newer now, Whitney Cummings is really great.
Is Pete Holmes the one that had, I think he's kind of a teethy guy, and he had a TV show for a couple of years.
Crashing?
Crashing.
Yes.
Crashing was so good. That first season was awesome. I think I kind of got tired in the second season, if I remember right. But
Okay.
that first season was, maybe I have it backwards, but anyway, there was a season that I really liked.
Right, yeah, where his wife cheated on him, taken from his real life. That really is a lot of how it went, which is great. So, you know, and then that show had a ton of great comedians. I had Big J Okerson. It had just a handful of just like really, really funny guys. Obviously, I love like Gary Shandling, Jerry Seinfeld, of course, the old school classic guys. Some of the newer ones, Taylor Tomlinson is really great. Matt Rife is really great. Bobby Lee, though he doesn't have any specials out. I'm trying to think of the ones that have like Netflix specials that you can watch.
Yeah, no, I think I've probably seen them all.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
You know, I've always like the Yucks.
Cool. So, what are some of your favorite comedians?
Hey, you nailed a few. I like the Nate Bargatze.
Oh, Bargatze, yeah, so funny.
He had a good special over COVID or towards the end of COVID. That was really good.
Yeah.
I just watched the Sarah Silverman.
Oh, Sarah Silverman, yeah, she's so funny.
I thought that was pretty good.
Nice.
Solid from her. I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of comedians are doing podcasts and comedy, which is great because you just get constant of their thoughts and then you see it wind up on stage and turn into something else, which is a lot of fun.
What got you into that? Just everybody saying, hey, you're pretty funny, you should do this for a living?
Yeah, funny, and they're like, mostly it's like, hey, you're kind of weird, maybe you should but yeah, basically, and then doing this, actually, I grew up in California, so I was doing this in the Bay Area, and I just have great conversations with people, and they were just like, you're really funny, like you should do comedy, like you should try. And And we talk about philosophy and life and all that stuff, and because it's great, people just tend to dump everything on you in the 10
You
minutes.
get a lot of material.
Yeah, exactly. And so some people were just like, just try this out and see what you do, and so far it's been pretty great, and yeah, that really got me started with it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm always jealous when I hear people like, well, I guess jealousy, but trying something different and going off and doing something that they wanted to do that maybe not be the most safest bet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd learned, like, what is it? The two number one fears for people are talking in public, like public speaking, and heights. Like, those are the number two ones. So get on a stage and tell people something is both of those combined, which is great.
Yeah. I heard a comedian, I don't remember who it was, say that nobody's really afraid of heights. People aren't afraid of being in Denver.
Oh, that's so funny.
But people are afraid of edges.
That's you know what? That's a really great point. I haven't heard anybody say that, but that's exactly, you're right. They're not afraid of being up high. They're afraid of being on the edge of something, which I feel like is a pretty natural human response.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. So have you been doing sales for long?
I've been doing this specific job for 20 years.
Oh, nice.
Or
Okay.
some variation for this company.
Sure.
So it's treated me pretty well.
That's great. Yeah, so you sell like the lighting fixtures, so when people are renovating their house and wanting to add a scheme or something, they go to you for that?
Yeah, we're less residential and more commercial grade. So, and I'm not selling to contractors, although we sell through there's a distribution chain that we would sell through, but we call on architects and designers and interior designers and lighting designers, and have them try to put our product on the prints for for offices, remodels, that type of thing.
I see. So it's not like custom fabrications based on a design. It's here's what we
actually everything
do.
is built to order.
Okay.
And a lot of our business is custom work.
Nice.
So we try to work with the specifiers to come up with some type of unique design that helps them achieve what their intent is, and
Sure.
And then that's where when we're getting close to getting it into the system and getting it ordered, that type of thing, there's a long process of approvals that goes back and forth.
Sure.
That's when they pull me in.
Okay. And so that was going to be my next question, is what part of it do you jump in on as far as the sales side of it?
Kind of, I guess it'd be, people consider it like a closer role. So
Okay.
we go in there and wrap things up and get things ready so that a contractor can go and order it.
Sure.
Kind of cross the T's and dot the I's. It's like anything, the devil's in the details.
Right, exactly. So you're kind of saying, okay, here's what we're responsible for. Here's what we're going to deliver when we're going to deliver it. Here's all the like you said, the I's and T's crossed and everything.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while, so and everybody just keeps getting younger. So my role is kind of just to be the shell answer man kind of thing, where I help them I help the sales team when they're working with the specifiers, and I meet with a lot of specifiers. And, we use our offices down on the south side over by Midway as our showroom. Mm-hmm. So we bring in a lot of folks throughout the year, and I go through their projects with them and show them new product and that type of thing that we have coming out, and see if there's any interest and get their feedback.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a nice situation to be in. I've locked into a job where I'm like been there for so long that I'm part of the furniture.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice because when I was younger, I was like, why can't I go do that? Why can't I get invited to the baseball game when they go out in there? The social aspects to the
sure
to the thing, to the job, and I kind of created my own little universe there.
Sure. And so now it's like they wouldn't think not to, right? Now you're the guy that goes out and social. That's great.
Yeah. Now I can work remote a little bit more often, and
that's great.
And travel a little bit when I want to travel, and kind of make the job personalized it a little bit for myself.
Sure.
Created my own role.
Nice. So then in 19 years, you mentioned people keep getting younger. What would you say is the difference, I guess, between like generations, younger people coming into the workforce now?
It's really interesting to, right at the surface, there doesn't seem to be much difference. You meet somebody, you talk to them, obviously there's a visual aspect, they look much younger.
Right.
But right off the bat, you don't think, oh, this person's capable, they got hired, they're in this position, they're capable, and when you start talking to them, you realize pretty quickly, like, how they just don't, really know anything. And we're getting a lot of people out of college or maybe on their second job after a year or two out of college. And it's always, I always used to think, I can read somebody pretty quickly.
Sure.
And you can after you start to talk to them.
Yeah.
But right off the bat, I've kind of realized everybody kind of is equal right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then as the conversation starts going, you can realize this person's very immature and thinks that something should just be able to be done and doesn't know processes and stuff like that. So more than anything, I guess I recognize the difference in me.
Sure.
That now things come to me a lot more easier. I've been through it a number of times, so
right, yeah. You understand how the sausage is made, but
exactly, and that's a common phrase for me to use.
Yeah.
But I can get to a solution very quickly.
Sure.
But I try not to because I don't want to be the guy that's always like, no, this is the way, my way or the highway. There's some instances where I just do it just to save time, but
sure.
Other times I'm like, why don't you give that a shot? You want to try that? Go ahead and try it. Knowing that it's probably doomed to fail, but hey, things change now, and maybe you can make it work, and we'll find another way to do it. So it's kind of fun to watch them.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure it out and come up with a different solution. And it's nice when I see them get it right and they're happy, and when they get it wrong and they're frustrated, and it's added to their time. Yeah,
and that being younger is experience is really what you're speaking to, and that's a conversation I was talking to. Actually, I had a mother with her teenage son, and she was talking about how he always lost stuff, and I explained, I was like, this is his first time living. Like, this is your first time, and nobody figures out their systems, how they do things, how they need to work, where they should put it. It took me 20 years to say, hey, put the keys by the door before you leave every day, or you're going to forget them. You're going to spend all day looking for them, and that's just, that's part of the process. So people that are new, it's like you said, second job out of college, first job out of college, they just haven't made enough mistakes to learn, and nobody learns from anybody else's mistakes. You have to go through it yourself to figure it out.
And I'll see them come in, and they're very confident, very, very, driven, and to a certain degree, and they're fresh out of school, so to a certain degree, so they're familiar with all the newest lingo and terms, and so I guess to a certain degree, that's kind of my code when I start seeing them not talk like a regular person, but like not conversationally, but they're talking about how at almost like like they've taken a class on business language. They've been reading out of a book rather than having the experience like you're talking about.
Sure.
It's a little bit of a tell.
Right, yeah, because like you said, they're reading out of the book still. They haven't made it integrated into who they are in casual conversation.
Exactly. It's learned behavior rather than like a kind of trial and error and experience.
Sure. So if they were to listen to you, what is something you would love for them to hear you on how what could help them get closer to your...
A lot of them don't understand it, the importance of the customer.
Sure.
They're more they're basically 9 to 5 people. They don't think about, which is good, but when you need something to get done, you got to get it done, and so and when you have somebody who really needs to have something to finish their job, and they've got other solutions that they can go with, or another company that they can go with, we often will miss the bus on certain things because people are are just like, well, I'm working on it. I don't understand why they're so frustrated. It's like because, you know, they told you they had a deadline, and their deadline was like a $10,000 a day fine. So we got to help them out. We got to come up with something quickly.
Sure.
And, you know, they like to do a lot of the fun aspects of work, you know, luncheons and taking a class online, or, you know, and it's like, hey, that's great. I'm all for that stuff. They really love that. The kids love taking classes. I hate taking classes. So I'd probably tell them, you know, at some point you need to kind of focus on what the big picture is here, and that's, you know, it's keeping our customers happy.
Sure. Yeah, right. Give it an idea of what's the whole image of what we're trying to do and achieve here, and how is that actually going to work. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
And everything there is where I work is you know, it's from design all the way to manufactured product, and everything's done right there on site. So
oh wow,
we've got a lot of creative people.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of business people, and you know, so it's interesting. People are kind of, they fall under a certain kind of category depending on their type of job. You know, engineer minds, and you know, then we've got the creative engineers that do a lot of our product development, and it's kind of fun to watch those groups interact.
Right, how they can create something from those interactions.
And how they work. You know, they all work a little differently. It's fun to watch the creative minds come up with stuff that, you know, I'm not the creative guy. I'm a solution guy. I'm a hammer, and, you know, and get stuff in.
Sure.
But
get you the screwdrivers and nails and the instructions, and you'll get it done.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Everybody has a little different role, so I try to make it. I try not to be the guy that's telling everybody what to do and what they should be thinking.
Okay.
I'm more of the guy that you know, warns them of going down a path of something that we've tried several times. You know,
sure.
More big picture things of issues that we've had problems with.
Okay, that makes sense. Sure. So you brought up a good question with creativity. What's something you do for creativity, creative outlet?
I'm not a very creative person.
Ah, okay.
I do a little, you know, I like to garden. I guess that's a little creative. I get to plant my garden.
Oh, that's awesome.
About as creative as I get.
That's amazing. That's creating life. That's nourishing life and,
Sure.
and building it. So what do you plant?
Just herbs and flowers and peppers and vegetables, that type of thing.
Sure. That's great. Are you here in the city or?
Yep.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Got a nice big area in the backyard.
Oh, that's awesome.
To do all that.
Nice. Yeah, I live up in Edgewater, and I have a house, but the house doesn't have a yard. So I'm doing indoor hydroponic growing.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've created a hydroponic setup. My pump broke with so I had to replace the pump. I had to get a bigger one, and now I have to get the hoses to fit, which is like a whole fun thing. But like then now it's going to be like, what can I grow indoors versus outdoors? Like what can I actually have going on? But I love gardening. I love farming. It's something I'm very interested in. I like mycology, like growing mushrooms too. So I have like a whole greenhouse for like growing food mushrooms and stuff like that too. Really great process. It's definitely something I love, and it's very creative. Yeah, because you're saying this is what I'm going to eat later. I'm making, you know, growing what I'm going to eat, which I think there's a lot of creativity to that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm appreciative of creative people and creative things. So, you know, I just don't have it in me.
I see.
I think I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I just went down a different path. You know, I think everybody has a little bit of everything in them, and once you make a decision, you know. And my decision was to go into business school and go down that route.
Sure.
And I kind of lost my. You know, I used to sketch and draw and build stuff around the house, and, you know, take things apart and put things together.
Sure.
And now I can't be bothered with it because it's you know, I've got a dozen started projects going on and
Sure.
0 finished ones at any
Sure.
given time.
Oh yeah, that's how homes usually are. You know, I know mine's like that too. It's constant.
When
And,
did you move out here?
I moved out to Chicago in 2018, and then I purchased the home in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I used to live in Andersonville, actually not far from here, and then I moved up to Edgewater. And yeah, so it's been exactly that, just projects. When I bought the house, I very specifically was like, I don't like any of it, but I know it's in a good location. I'm like 2 blocks from Loyola College, 2 blocks from the lake. It's just a great location. But it's the people who purchased it bought it in like the 70s or 80s and just did nothing. They just were just gonna pay it off and then sell it and take the money. So that's all they did. So it definitely needs work. But
Are you good with that type of thing?
Oh no, definitely not.
No.
No, not at all. No. Fortunately, there's YouTube. Fortunately, there's the internet.
YouTube,
Yeah.
That's probably one of the greatest things that's,
Yeah.
form of technology in the past 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the upstairs bathroom sink got clogged. It wasn't draining. And it was like 5 days. I was like, just fix yourself, please. Just, I work in IT. You restart it and it's good. Let me turn the water off, turn it back on. Hopefully it'll be good. No, that did not happen. So I had to teach myself how to fix a drain, how to take apart the piping underneath, open it up. And then that wasn't the thing. It was where the stopper goes in is where it was actually jammed up.
Right.
So I had to figure out how to open all that up. And it wasn't, every YouTube video said, here's all you have to unscrew. This wasn't an unscrew one. It was like a little different.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out that just by looking at it, how to take it apart, open it up. And then like once I got it to drain, I was just like so psyched. I was like, I did it. This is awesome. Yes. All right, cool. Like just so happy with myself to be able to figure that one out. So little wins like that, I'm all for. But like, I also need to do the flooring, and like that, I shouldn't be allowed to do that.
No,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I don't know.
You'll be disappointed for years to come if you do it.
Yes.
You'll always be looking at that little spot on the floor that just bothers you.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. And then when it comes time to sell the house, I'm like, actually, you just lost money on this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you did a really bad
They'll
job.
walk through and go, yeah, I'm gonna rip this up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, actually, you have to pay us to take this. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I try and choose my battles. So I was lucky, unlucky. My neighbor, so we're in townhomes, so we like share houses, or share a wall. And my neighbor, she was moving out. Unfortunately she lost her house. She decided not to pay taxes on it since, I don't know, 20 years. And so
she decided not to.
And she said, I had the conversation. She's like, I'm not supposed to pay these. I was like, I'm pretty sure you are. She's like, I'm not. I was like, I'm not getting in the middle of it. You lost the house. So she set it on fire.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she set it on fire, and I was lucky. I work from home, so I was there, and I was able to like get the dog out and like get some stuff.
Was she? Did you see her doing this, or?
I didn't see her, but I was next door, and I heard her daughter like yelling, like, "Why would you risk us like this? Why would you do this? Like, blah blah blah."
No.
But like, didn't tell anybody, didn't say anything. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure she did it. She was old, like really much older woman, kind of like, I'm gonna say, I don't know the exact word, touched in the head, I would say. You know how people kind of tell you everything when you meet them, and you're like, oh, there's something about you that's just a little off. And she had a son who's like a little off too, so it's like, okay, this seems like there's a hereditary thing. No big deal, is what it is. She should have been staying with family already. She should have been with her daughter and having somebody with her, but she was living alone this whole time, so obviously she wasn't paying her taxes, wasn't paying her bills, lost the house. And so because of that, I filed an insurance claim, and they were like, oh, okay, well, we have to paint the walls to get rid of the smoke smell. It smelled like a burnt marshmallow for like 4 weeks. It was so bad. But they cleaned the vents, they did all that stuff, and one of the things they're gonna do is they're gonna paint. And so they're gonna paint all my walls whatever color I want. So me and my daughter, we got to go and like pick and mark all the walls to figure out what we're gonna do for that. And then they're gonna paint it for free. So that's like one less thing I gotta do.
That's excellent. That's a win. Yeah. I mean, you paid for it with a stinky house for a month, but good for you. That's great.
Yeah.
Did she end up getting busted for that, or you don't know?
I don't know. Yeah, they did have the fire police come, and like when the fire happened, like the firemen put it all out, and then the fire police investigators like started coming and looking at it. Now it's boarded up and it's already been sold, but I haven't heard anything from any of them. I don't have any contact info, so I can't be like, oh hey, what happened here or there.
Sure.
So yeah, I really have zero clue what occurred from there. And if police ask me, I'm gonna say I have no idea, because I'm a good neighbor. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have been burning property down in Chicago for centuries. It's how
Right.
the city works.
Yeah, I mean, we had the Chicago fire. You know, that was may or may not have been an accident. You know,
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
You know, it's the family that owns the company that I work for is really South Side Chicago, and you know, Bridgeport, and exactly what you see on TV shows. And so when you know.
Yeah, I used to live in Oaklawn, so yeah, I'm familiar with the people.
We'll have trouble with an inspector.
Yeah.
And the old guy's take is every time is, all right, so what you do is you just get some cash out of petty cash, and you put it in an envelope. You just take it down there and you hand it off to him and ask him, you know. And I'm like, Pete, we don't have petty cash anymore. We don't, we're not going to go and pay anybody off.
Right.
You know, it's like I know that's how you did it.
Yeah,
I love
that's
how
just
you
business.
did it. I think that's great. I wish we could do that.
Right.
But you know, you could lose your company.
Exactly. They're too honest, and so it's not an option anymore.
I know there's still payoffs. There's no question about it.
For sure. But
do you want to risk it? You know?
Exactly.
But the stories I hear, you know, from back in the day before I started working there, you know, you can do whatever you want to do if you pay for it.
Sure, and I think that's something that it says something about an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, what is it? Those codes, regulations, all that stuff, they are written in blood. At the end of the day, somebody, you know, but until somebody dies, it's like, it's fine. Who cares? You know, this is life. So that's how we get there. You do it. You go. You know, 1,000 times out of 10,000, people are going to be hurt, but maybe 9 out of 10, not so much.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really it. But yeah, it's all part of the process. See, and that goes into the experience, right? You have to make the mistake, or someone dies, in order to learn. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should have seatbelts be a thing. How long did we have cars before we had seatbelts? I think like 25 years.
Something like that.
Yeah, right. We used to put kids out the window, just hanging out, just put them out there. It's no big deal, right?
You've been following this.
The submarine
situation. I mean, the shit that guy did is just if he was living, he should be in jail. It was ridiculous. Right. No door on it. He had a controller made out of like a game controller.
Cheapest Logitech video game controller you could find. It was like a $32 thing, yeah.
And they were talking to one of the guys who went down there previously, and he said, yeah, after a few hours, 3 hours short of the trip, we had to take off, and the first time that we went down, we had to pull it back up, and we used zip ties to hold something together. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going down the deepest depth.
Yeah.
And now these guys are going to be, you know, I predict in another 50 years, people are going to go down and once they find them, they're going to send submarines down to go look at them.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
for
like
sure.
These people were looking at those people over there.
Yeah.
And they died.
Yeah. Well, no, and this is, you know, all he was doing, he was like, well, this costs money. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end, and I've personally
charging $250,000 a person.
Right. And all I'm saying is I've found in my experience that the richest people are the biggest penny pinchers.
For sure.
They will always cut corners to save money. And that's exactly what's occurred. This is why regulations exist. And I've made a ton of jokes about it, but I think I found out there's a kid down there too that like had to go, didn't have a choice, like went with them. So that's sad.
That's it.
But at the end of the day, they did it to themselves. They did it trying to save pennies. That's really all it was, you know. And
you know, the penny thing is this guy sent. At first, he started off just wanting to get people's autographs. So he would send checks to people, famous people, and they would endorse it and send it back. And he started realizing, you know, this is costing me $5-10. I'm going to put it down lower. So he started sending them out for lower and lower, and he started seeing certain people wouldn't cash them anymore.
Sure.
But the multi-millionaires, the super famous people, were cashing them all. It didn't matter if it was a penny. They cashed the check. And you know, if that doesn't tell you something about those people, they don't let one penny go to waste.
That's exactly it. That's so funny. I'll have to look that up. I 100% believe it. Yeah, he's like, oh, so I'll send Bill Gates a half a penny check and he'll endorse it. That's a good way to get a free cheap autograph. So do people use checks anymore nowadays?
This is probably a few years back.
Yeah, must have.
But I think people still get checks. Sure.
It's somewhere. Yeah, well, yeah. I do have to write a check to my kid's mom every.
You're like, I know about that.
I gotta write those.
You got a lot of autographs.
Yeah, that was yeah, that was one of my first jokes. Is that the way you know that's how you know you're a grown up is when you have to write your first child support check.
That's a good one.
That's how you know you're grown. How long have you had a boat?
This is my buddy's boat. And, we got it. I like to say we got it. Just last year, as a matter of fact.
Oh, nice.
This
Okay.
is his second or third boat.
Okay.
But it's 29 foot, and it's his biggest one. You know,
Okay.
before it was like 17 feet or something like that. 23 feet, 17 feet.
Okay.
So it's
It's pretty good size.
he's moving up.
Yeah.
And he's already talking about, next year I might get a bigger one. I'm like, all right, I'm with you.
Fine. Is he a single guy?
No, he's married with
okay,
kids.
married with kids. Okay, that makes sense too. Because once the summer happens on the dating apps, all the girls want to date a guy with a boat.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a requirement. But that is still pretty cool. Where does he dock? Like, in the winter? Where does he put it in Chicago? Somebody asked me where they do that.
There's a lot of marinas. He takes us up to right at the Wisconsin border, a place called Skipper Bud's.
Okay.
Which is
Not
like
too far, yeah.
It's our favorite, and least favorite trip. It's great in the spring when you bring it down.
Yeah.
It's usually super cold. We took it down on April 1st, I think it was.
Nice.
And we've been April 31st. And then we take it down just before Thanksgiving, or just before October 31st. So very cold trips.
Yeah, I can imagine. Vin, it was great chatting.
Hey, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was
nice
a lot of
chat.
fun.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Have a great evening, and good luck with everything.
I'm gonna need it. Thanks. Have a good one.